Would you say then that the thing that makes it more difficult then for some people to, self-regulate or go there than others is like that their historical events that have led them up until this point? The stories, the narratives, all the things.
Historical events and life potential, environment, all kinds of stuff get in the way. The kids that I work with that are from inner city, the city I live in is not all that great. So we have a good area, but the kids I work with don't.
Yeah.
Like they just don't. And so their capacity to self-regulate is there, but can you do that in the environment you live in? Can you do that in a home where there's a complete lack of co-regulation, or even the opposite of that and downright abuse? So it's the biology, it can do it, but severely limited by what you have at hand, obviously.
Yeah. And that is really hard for me when it comes to like criminalizing things then, because then I see those kids at your school and I'm just like, man, they just were not dealt the same cards that a lot of us were dealt. And I struggle with then like punishing them for now their biology for where it's at.
I cannot disagree with you. Excuse me. No, I mean, I cannot disagree with you. And I don't think I have a good answer to that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think it's the current prison systems for sure.
No,
but
I mean, that's like every politician will say they have the answer to that. No one has the answer.
No one has the answer to that. I definitely don't have that. Yeah, but
no, and that becomes a whole political thing. I'm not going to get into.
Yeah. But then on the same hand, you're also saying, even with that all being said, I still do believe that accountability is super important and that there has to be some sort of account. So there is like some sort of choice in this, not choice or this,
look at it this way, look at it this way. We are a social species. Mm-hmm. Think about it like this. So think about like we're a school of fish. And we all swim in the same direction. If one of those fish deviates, the others might say like, no, get back in line. Come on, like get back, right?
Yep.
No, I know fish I don't think they're all that complex, but if one of those fish starts to like bump into the other ones, they might check it and like knock it off course and say like, get out of here or get back in line. Yeah. And so if you look at it that way, as we're a social species and we're ideally putting ourselves in check, each other in check in a healthy, productive way to get back in line. Now that's a very scary idea because who has the right to do that? Obviously, if we have a society full of self-regulated adults who can do that out of love to each other, I think it's fine, but we don't have that at all. Yeah. And it also sets up a scary layering of like, we're the self-regulated ones who can tell you how to behave and put you in check, and you're the dysregulated one. So, and that's the issue I have with the whole DSM mental health stuff, is like, we're the ones who are treating you. You're the ones who have the problem, not us. And so polyvagal theory, I think any paradigm or any school of thought can lead that direction. So I look at it as socially we're putting each other in check in the best, just the most possible light that could be done. Like that might be the healthiest way of looking at things. Yeah. So as far as accountability, we're basically saying you swam out of line, like get back in line. And
I like that.
That's kind of the function of it, I would think. So that's what accountability could look like. Now, for us, we are a social species, and we do have feelings like guilt and shame. And those feelings help keep us in line intrinsically. If we are self-regulated enough to feel them and then act on them. Tonight, my son, I had to repeat myself a couple times. The third time I raised my voice, and he looked at me like it hurt him, and I felt guilty. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. Sorry, daddy's grumpy right now. Sorry. So it's like, I'm self-regulated enough to feel guilt, which, so that's a good thing. Guilt is a good thing. Feeling shame for horrible acts is a good thing. Potentially, there's a social function to it.
I agree.
Yeah. So we have the accountability of the society to the individual in the brightest possible light. It does not work out that way whatsoever, because we're all traumatized people trying to keep each other in line, and that's doesn't work out very well. And then we have the individual function as part of a society of guilt and shame, which help keep us within the social norms.
That's super helpful.
Does that?
Yeah, it is. I really like the idea of us being, like this social network. I don't like that term, but this that is, we are kind of supporting and helping each other stay on track in that way. That as accountability does feel
ideally.
Ideally, that does feel like a beautiful way to look at it. And even in parenting, that feels helpful.
Right. Yeah. So that has a nice tie into parenting then. And this all depends on if we have parents that are self-regulated enough to keep kids within some sort of acceptable norm. Now this can easily get abused, and parents go all kinds of different directions with this. And for them, it makes sense. Like, I'm keeping them in line. It's like, So it doesn't always work out very well. You have to have people that are, I think, self-regulated enough to be able to come from empathy and to utilize their own guilt to make amends and repair their relationship with their kids, and to use, I think, consequences in a productive, healthy way. So there's all kinds of caveats that come into this, I think.
Yep, it totally.
But the philosophy of it, I think, makes sense. At least none of us are it seems like the people who want to lead us are they shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And so we end up with this society of it doesn't work out the way it should. Hey, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I, of course, have a lot more stuff here on YouTube, but I also have even more on my website. It's justinlmft.com. I have a blog, I have a podcast, I have free resources, and I have some paid courses as well. Head on over to justinlmft.com. I think you'll like it a lot. This and other content I create is not therapy, not intended to be therapy or be a replacement for therapy. Nothing in this creates or indicates a therapeutic relationship. Please consult with your therapist or seek for one in your area if you are experiencing mental health symptoms. Nothing should be understood to be specific life advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only.